like science.
I like science.
I like science.
Oh my God, that's loud.
Oh, sorry.
Yep, that's okay. Well,
Science.
it's the computerized voice that says recording in progress. Anyhow, welcome to Shield Podulation, you listeners,
Yeah.
to our random Star Trek podcast in which we discuss movies and television shows across the Star Trek franchise, except the very short treks of which we are not fans. I am one part of your hosting complement, and that is DJ Evil Dave, and the other part is my lovely wife, Brandy, and there she is right there.
Hi. What's up?
We're just gonna get our toe into Strange New Worlds, which is
Yeah.
kind of funny because we're overdoing Boldly Go when that is the whole shtick.
Yep.
It's like it's all Boldly Go. Oops, all Boldly Go. So, or all Strange New Worlds, I should say.
Yep.
Yeah, over on Boldly Go.
Yep.
Oops, all Strange New Worlds. So
Mhm.
that's all we're talking about over there. But here, the first time we're getting into it. And as usual, when it's our first time getting into one of these series, we talk about our general thoughts, how we got into it, our thoughts before the show, etc. So let's begin with you, Brandy. What were your thoughts when Strange New Worlds was announced?
I was basically I was jumping up and down and saying, "Finally!" That was basically my reaction because everybody wanted it. And it actually the announcement came from our Holy Trinity, which was Anson Mount, Rebecca Romaine, and Ethan Peck. And it was during COVID
Right.
when people were still, not going out and not moving about. And I think that the reason they did it at that time was just to give people some hope because we were all struggling at
Yeah.
that point. And so, and everybody wanted it after season 2 of Discovery and Anson Mount's portrayal of Pike and Ethan Peck's portrayal of Spock. Everybody wanted this. Everybody did. Well, there might be a few people that didn't, but they don't matter. So
Yeah.
we were all hoping for it. Akiva Goldsman was hoping for it because he really wanted to do Strange New Worlds. Wasn't named that yet, but he really wanted to do a series about Pike because, Pike is the originator. He's the one who was first before Kirk.
Right.
And
In the unaired pilot that they later aired as a
yeah,
two-parter.
yeah, they just mixed it in with the ridiculous reason for having to go back to this planet. So
Right. Was it a two-parter? It was,
yes,
right?
yes, it was. It was
Yeah.
2 parts. Yes.
The
So
cage and
no, the cage was the
the
original episode that
right.
was not split up. The
Uh-huh.
menagerie
The
parts one and
menagerie.
two.
Or one and two. Okay.
Yeah. So I was very excited about it because I just knew we needed to have more Anson Mount as Christopher Pike because he was so fucking good at it. And also I needed all of the Spock. I needed all of the Spock. All of the Spock. So yeah, I wasn't totally on board with them bringing Spock back in Discovery until I saw him and then I'm like, "Wait a minute. This is different. What? He's got a beard and longer hair. I am intrigued." So yeah, and he's done such an amazing job as Spock ever since. He's just he's just fantastic. And maybe someday when I'm old and gray, I might get to meet him. He might come to FanX. Anyway,
Yeah, yeah, at the rate it's going, he might be playing Spock for a while.
yeah.
Because
Well,
I'm suspecting that they'll do a TOS reboot. That
it's
seems the
possible, I guess.
direction because they're building up to it. We're getting Scotty, we've got Uhura already. They keep bringing in Kirk. We've already had Spock, and so they're slowly developing the original series crew. And it'd be kind of interesting to bring in Chekhov like halfway through like a 5-year series.
Yeah,
Yeah, Sulu we haven't seen yet. So,
yeah.
and of course McCoy, I think Kirk brings on with him, but that's somebody that could be introduced on the Farragut for all we know.
Hmm.
We might
Yep.
see McCoy coming up.
Yeah, I would not mind that at all. At first, I thought, no, I don't want a retread of that. But now, especially after really getting into Paul Wesley's performance as Kirk, I am all for it.
Yeah,
And if that earns me more Spock, I am all for it even more. So,
yeah.
but we only after this season ends, after season 3 ends, we'll only have 16 more episodes. We'll have another 10 episode season and then the final 6 episodes and then that's it. That's all there is of Strange New Worlds.
What? Yeah, that's crazy, isn't
Yeah.
it? Because it's super popular, but Paramount doesn't know what they're doing.
That is clear. That is clear because they canceled Lower Decks.
Right.
They canceled Prodigy. They canceled Discovery. So, and all of those series had more to give, had more stories to tell.
Can you know, like any other studio that had Star Trek, imagine what they could do with it.
Mm.
And it did seem like Paramount was doing something for a bit. They kept, oh, my headphones just died.
Oh no.
Ugh, I thought they were charging, but my charger's weird.
Mm.
It's like I might have to clean them because they're not getting the actual headphones, so I'm gonna have to use something else here.
But what about the other headphones that I got you?
Yeah, I have other headphones, but they're weird. They're too sensitive. I touch them and they turn off. Let
Hmm.
me adjust my audio now. Where are my audio settings? There they are. Okay, that I turn off.
Yeah.
Okay, now I
Well, you
have to go
sound the
into
same.
here. What?
You sound the same.
I
The
sound
mic.
the same because the microphone's the same.
Well, yeah.
It's
But I'm just
my
saying.
headphones that screwed up. Okay, let's see. How's that? Can I hear you now, I wonder?
Can you hear me now?
Okay. This is not good.
Oh dear.
How do I get these to work? Here we go. Maybe now?
I don't know. You have to tell me.
Okay.
Dave is growling.
Yeah, I can barely hear you through these. Might have to use the other ones and just not touch them.
You could do that. You could also use the headset we use when we're playing Baldur's Gate 3
Yeah, that's
because you
very
could,
similar to what I'm using, so it's just
yeah.
weird that I can barely hear you through these.
But what I'm saying is you could take the dongle out of the PlayStation 5 and stick it into
Yeah.
your computer and, have the Bluetooth that way with that headset.
I can hear you enough through these, I think. I don't want to get up and trip over wires. That's just so
Okay.
weird,
The
so
other,
annoying that my charger just won't charge my headphones.
does the
Okay.
charger itself have enough juice?
Yeah, the charger, when I take out my headphones from my charger, it goes green. When I put my headphones back in, it goes orange.
Yeah, that's normal.
So that should mean that they're charging. But yeah, I just had him in for a little while and they died on me. So,
Hmm.
oh well, I
All
can hear
right.
you now, kind of, sort of.
Okay.
Anyhow,
Well,
we were talking about stuff
yeah, we
before
were
my
talking about
headphones died.
Strange New Worlds ending soon, and
Yes.
I'm not happy about it.
Yeah,
So,
it's like people don't understand what they have. But then Paramount's always been ashamed of having Star Trek for some reason. And it
mm,
makes you wonder why they even bothered with even creating all these new series if they weren't committed to it. But then studio execs come and go, and this is a problem with anybody who's ever had to sell like a pilot to some studio, some network, is that there'll be a change in leadership and everything gets scrapped, or they decide, oh, we have too many of these types of shows, we're going in this direction, so we're no longer going to produce this show that we actually bought, just a few weeks ago. But we still own it, so you can't do it anywhere else. It's
yeah.
just, yeah, it's very frustrating.
Well, sometimes I think they do that purposely. It's like, oh, we don't want to do it, but we also don't want anyone else to do it. So we're just going to hoard it and never let it see the light of
Yeah.
day.
Yeah, it's like the thing where Netflix had to wait until they could air Prodigy, and then they cancel it too.
Mm-hmm. Assholes.
So what's the point?
Yeah. Well, Netflix, I don't understand their way of thinking because it's like if you don't get X million amount of views for everything, then
Yeah,
they're going to take it away. That's not a way to run a streaming service.
that's not how you make quality entertainment either. That's
No.
that's for people who put something on in the background just to have it there.
Yeah.
That's like just kind of crappy, cheap reality programming that, you don't have to really pay attention to. You just have it on in the background while you wash dishes or something.
Yeah,
So
I
you're
don't
not going to be producing anything of lasting note by doing that.
know. And the thing is, I don't put stuff on in the background while I'm doing other things. The
Right.
only time that I do that with television is when I'm trying to sleep because it
Right.
distracts me from all the stuff going on in my brain and I fall asleep. That's the only reason I do that. And the thing is that I always pick things that I've watched a million times because then I'm not staying awake going, oh, what happens next? So,
That's kind of a neurodivergent thing too.
oh, did not know that, but
Yeah.
makes sense.
Same thing with reading books you've already read,
Mm-hmm.
watching television shows and movies you've already seen,
Mm-hmm.
because there's no anxiety there.
Yes.
You know how it's going to end. There's a comfort in watching the familiar or reading the familiar.
That is the right word. Thank you. Comfort.
Yep.
And I am so uncomfortable so much of the time that it is nice to just
Yeah, it's nice to
my
sit down and
comforts.
have something safe for you
Yeah.
to enjoy.
Which is why I've played Fallout 4 like 100 times.
Yeah,
That's
it's
that's
like
not an
I'm
exaggeration.
on what playthrough on Blueprints, but then that's also because it has, or until recently, it still kicks me out every once in a while, but until
Mm.
recently, it's had some save file issues on PlayStation 5.
But that got fixed, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's still every once in a while crashes, but I think it just crashes from overplaying. It just
Mm.
kind of overheats and says and kicks me out.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I haven't lost a game save recently, which is good because I don't want to play curse mode or dare mode again when I've got those trophies. So
Yeah. Well, let's get back to the thing at hand because you didn't talk about your
I
experience
did.
with about Strange New Worlds.
When I heard that they were going back to kind of a Monster of the Week kind of program, that excited me because a lot of the new Star Trek was in the spirit of Deep Space Nine. It was like this long form narrative. And that's great. It's a great way to make television, especially nowadays when you have streaming and binge watching and that sort of thing. But it can get old when everything you're watching is long form. Sometimes
Mm.
you just want to sit down and watch an episode of a show and just move on. And granted, like a lot of television, there's still some through lines from episode to episode, but the main gist is that you sit down and watch one story. And that's kind of why I liked the Discovery, I think it was season 3, right after they went to the future.
Yes.
And it was all broken up, and every episode was wildly different than the other. You had like a
Mm-hmm.
Western here, you had like a bank heist there, you had like intrigue, and you had like a Die Hard type episode. Everything was different. I think there was a jailbreak episode too.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was a different genre each episode, and I found that to be exciting and interesting. And it's they're kind of doing the same thing here. To mixed results from time to time. I think the current season is a bit uneven,
Mm.
but early on, it showed a great deal of promise, and I like the crew, and I think that they keep rotating in and out different characters, and we're seeing more and more crew of the original series Enterprise, which is exciting. So it's a fun indicator of what's to come, and it's really good on its own merits, with a few not so great episodes from time to time, but that happens with any series, I think. I mean, even
Mm-hmm.
Discovery's had a couple of
Yeah.
episodes that were, I mean, even early season were just kind of like, eh.
Yeah.
But yeah, I enjoy it, and yeah, it's exciting to watch something that's kind of more Monster of the Week.
Yeah. Well, without Discovery, we wouldn't have Strange New Worlds. So,
No, that's something else is being introduced to Pike as captain of the Discovery after Lorca left.
mhm.
And it's kind of like one of those inspirational high school movies about the math teacher that comes in and, turns all these troubled kids around, or, the principal that carries a bat into his office, that kind of thing. But yeah, it's just he shapes them up. It was a under Lorca, it was a mess
Mm,
because Lorca's command style is to keep them all separated, to kind of rule with an iron fist because he's a wartime captain, and there wasn't a whole lot of that family feeling
mm,
that you definitely get on the Enterprise under Pike, and you got that with this Discovery under Pike. Is he went around? Okay, introduce yourselves. I'm going to introduce myself. This is who we are. We're Starfleet. We each have a role to play in this family, and we have to trust one another. And yeah, it was really great to see that crew shape up and get to know them a bit better than just what position they were on the bridge.
Yeah, and I like the way he did it because he said, "Yeah, let's go around and say your names. Ranks don't matter."
Yeah.
So yeah, and the thing is that without Pike, without Discovery season two, we wouldn't have had this series. And I like how the character of Pike has evolved from his time on Discovery to Strange New Worlds and
Yes.
being the captain of the flagship of Starfleet and the Federation. So it's an interesting thing because his time on that ship shaped a lot of the things that happen in Strange New Worlds.
Mm,
So, uh, but it's really, I just I love the series, and I'm gonna be devastated when it ends
right.
because I don't know. It's just I feel like we haven't had enough time with them.
I can see that. I can also see with some of the cast how they might want to move on to do other things. You don't want to get like, but then there's the people that like to play a character their entire life and are excited to do that, you know.
Mm,
So it really would be a case by case basis, I think, depending on, the people who'd want to stay and just do a thing forever and those that would not.
yeah. Well, anyway, we should actually talk about the episode, I think.
Yeah, season 2, episode 5, is that right?
That is correct. The title
Charades,
charades, yes.
a
This
Spock
is
episode, which works out well for you.
oh yes. This is our 30th episode, Dave.
Okay. It's a benchmark for a podcast to make 10. I remember hearing that somewhere back in the day. That few podcasts make it to their 10th episode, and we're triple that. So
Yep.
that bodes well. We're already over a year
We're
because now
having a
that
good
we've
time.
gone from every 2 weeks, fortnightly to being weekly.
Yeah, I can't believe it's been over a year. That's just so weird
Huh.
to me. It feels like we just started.
Yeah, it's been over a year, believe it or not.
I do
I'm
believe it.
flying on that.
Okay, so charades. This episode starts with a bang, pretty much,
Well,
because
almost literally.
yeah, almost literally. Christine's doing a personal log, and they're all kind of just not having a ton of work to do because they're going to Vulcan, and Christine is getting interviewed for this fellowship, and she has an interview later on. But she's really studied hard and got all her ducks in a row, and she's looking forward to talking with whatever Vulcan representative is in charge of this and basically to show what she can do, what her value is. But they realize that there's something going on with one of the moons around Vulcan, which apparently used to be a planet, and the planet hosted the Kirkovians.
Right.
And I'm
Yeah,
not,
there
and
was a civilization there and then there wasn't.
yeah, and then there wasn't, and so yeah, and there's this tension going on between Spock and Christine because earlier we had that whole thing where he had to make Captain Angel believe that he was in love with Christine and not T'Pring. So yeah, remember that one, don't you?
Right. Yes. Isn't that okay? Is that the one where was his name Serac was introduced, or is that a different one? Or is that later? Spock's
No,
brother.
no, we haven't been introduced to
We haven't
Spock's
been
brother.
introduced to that. Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
we have not been introduced to Spock's brother, and his name is Cybok.
Cybok, sorry. I watch Star Trek 5 so very rarely.
I watched it once,
Uh,
and I've tried to watch it since, and I can't get through it.
it might be on the roster one of these days.
I know, and we'll be forced to do it. So everybody's got some downtime, and they're basically surveying this moon because they want to try and find out what happened to the Krakowians. And like Spock's decided he's going to learn to cook.
Yeah, speaking of, what did you think of the setup of Christine doing a log and then cutting to Spock doing a log? Because they both get this introductory like voiceover
Hmm.
telling
It's
of each other points of view at the start of the story.
Yeah. Well, I figured they were going to be thrown together at some point, and
Yeah,
they are.
I found that interesting just to, show their points of view and go, oh yeah, this is an episode about the two of them. And so you get her point of view, you get his point of view.
Yeah. It is interesting. Point and counterpoint. So,
Yep.
and with all this other stuff happening, T'Pring is
To bring.
communicating with Spock and saying that they need to do this Vishal dinner. It's a ritual thing for the people who are going to be married. And her mother is, well, her mother's name is T'Pril, but I just call her the pill
The pill.
because
She
she's
is a pill.
horrible. She is one of those extremely judgmental racist Vulcans.
Yeah,
So,
she's domineering
mhm.
as mothers go and as Vulcans go. I mean, she's both of those rolled up into one, and it's a lot.
Yeah, if she didn't have the husband that she does, she would be single because nobody would put up with her crap.
Yeah,
He's henpecked.
he's handpicked. He falls right in line. Anything she says goes, even
Hmm.
if he disagrees. It's just he's learned that it's better to agree than fight. You just see the fight's been taken out of him over the years.
Yeah.
And I'm sure their marriage was probably something that had been arranged. They
Mm.
did not marry for love. You can just feel that.
Well, and he seems like such a nice guy.
Yeah, he could do better.
He could absolutely do better. So he's got that worry hanging over him, but there's a stable vortex inside this disturbance.
There's a stable vortex in the sun today. It's my soul up there.
So yeah, anyway, they basically Spock was going to go check it out, and then because Christine had interest in this and it would look good for her application to this fellowship, she wanted to go as well, and so everything's really awkward between the
Yeah.
two of them.
Yeah,
So
the distance
awkward.
between their seats on the
Hmm.
shuttle
Well,
and
that's
just kind
normal.
of mirrors the distance they'd have in the turbo lift.
Well,
There'd be somebody in between them and just this deathly silence and the avoidance of eye contact. And just their
yeah.
small talk alone
Mhm.
is, and even with Christine bringing up, "Are you avoiding me?" And he kind of turns and looks at her like, I've just been busy."
Yeah. Well, see, the thing is that that's what the shuttles look like. There's no
Yep,
place for a seat in between. And we've seen Spock and another person on that type of shuttle before, because
yep,
when he was with La'an and they were trying to figure out a way to get out from under the Gorn, which
yeah.
was, if I remember right, was it episode 4 of season 1? I can't remember. Um, anyway, long story short, that's what all of the shuttles look like. It's not like they're
Yeah,
purposely put far away.
I mean, even if that's the design of the shuttle, there's a way of using the camera to
Yeah.
emphasize distance, and I think that's what's happening here is
Hmm.
there's definitely an eye and hand behind the camera that's establishing a mood, the tension that's between the two of them. And the actors too, of course, and how
Yeah,
they play the scene is really well done, but I think the staging of it, the
yeah,
framing of it is done very well
it is.
for
And
what
they're
is mostly a comedy episode, I think. It draws up the tension between the characters.
yeah, it's not so funny right now, but it will get there. But they're getting close to the vortex where they cannot break free, and Spock says, "I'm turning into the skid," but the skid is going into that. And
Right.
so they're basically sucked into this vortex. And before they get fully immersed in it, Spock presses some buttons on the console.
Yeah, you see the
And
subtle movement of his hands as he's looking at her, and then
mhm,
you get this flash as they crash.
yeah. And next thing we know, Spock is waking up in sick bay.
Yeah, with everybody hovering above him like it was an inside the trunk shot from a Tarantino movie.
Hmm. Yeah, and they all have funny looks on their faces.
Yeah.
It's not really overdone. it's pretty subtle,
Yeah,
but
it's
all of them are just like,
concern. Yeah. Like, oh boy, how are we gonna address this?
yeah. So
Yeah,
they're
it's
like,
from
yeah,
Spock's point of view, and he looks at his hands, so you see
yeah,
Spock's hands as if you're the one looking at them.
yeah. And they're like, just take it easy. You're okay, but there are some things that happened. And they're the way they're filming it, they're being very careful about not showing his entire face, not showing his forehead and whatnot, his ears, etc. Until they finally have him sit up and he's like, I'm human. And this is the funniest part about it, I think, is the Kirkovians, because they're like, oh, he had mixed instructions, and so and the two entities did not match, so we made them match. Like, what?
It's like calling into Comcast trying to cancel your subscription.
Yes,
It's
remedi-
you're just it's not gonna happen. They're gonna
remediation
say
has
a
been
few
made.
curt things and then hang up on you, and you're like, what? It's like
Remediation
remediation
has been
complete. No more
no
contact is
remediation.
necessary.
Remediation has been made. No further contact is necessary.
Yeah.
And then they basically hang up.
Yeah.
but but that's afterward. But right before it goes to the credits, and Spock realizes what's really going on, it he starts to say, "What the?" And then it
Yeah.
goes.
Yeah, you get the F. You actually do get the F. You get the what the f, and that's, I mean, he doesn't get to the U, but he's on the F
Mm-hmm.
when they cut to the opening credits.
Yeah, it's just, and that's when we knew we were really in for it.
Yep.
So yeah. But anyway, yeah, they do when they're deep cleaning the shuttle, they do find this calling card sort of thing. And that's how they contact their Kirkovians, and Yellow is the one who answers
Yep.
the phone, which is funny because Pike's like, "Oh, hello. And you are and I am Yellow. You called me?"
Yes. The phone etiquette in this is so hilarious. It's just so customer service that
Hmm.
is like these enlightened energy beings that are just into bureaucracy. It's crazy. It makes
Yeah,
you wonder if
it's
their host society is like that because you get a little bit of impression from Blue you meet later on that
mhm.
it's like they're lawful neutral, to
Mm,
borrow from the Dungeons and Dragons alignment system.
hmm.
It's all about what's nice and orderly and correct. It's, if they screwed up, oh well, they fixed it the way it seemed that it needed to be fixed. It's nice and orderly. He came with mixed instructions, so we just eliminated the bit that didn't fit. And so that's why he's human, because our other part didn't make sense according
Yeah.
to what her makeup was.
Yeah, basically they're talking to the quality assistant or quality assurance line,
Yes. Yeah.
which is funny. And once they have this conversation with Yellow, they can't get her back. So Spock just has to figure out how to be human for a while. And we get this fantastic montage of
Yeah.
all of the things that he's experiencing now, like bacon.
Yeah. Assisting with Pike and cooking, and he's like, "What is that smell?" And it's like, "It's probably the bacon." And he picks it up and nibbles on it. It's like, "Wow, it's sweet and salty and savory all at once, and
Yeah.
it's crisp yet soft." And he just starts eating more and more of it. And he's like, Pike's like, you better slow down. It's like, why? I'm making up for lost time. Ooh, I feel nauseated.
It was so funny. His cheeks were full like a chipmunk of
Uh-huh.
just bacon.
It's just like, yeah, you don't want to overstuff yourself on bacon.
Yeah, and then there's Spock sitting in on uh
Oh,
the
the
meetings.
meetings. Yeah.
Yeah, which they showed an earlier version where he was, himself, and
Hmm.
he's so annoyed with Sam. He's
Yep.
so annoyed with Sam Kirk because he brings food and drink to the meeting and then he doesn't clean up after
Yeah,
himself.
there's crumbs
Crumbs on
and
the
like bits of
table.
spilled coffee on the table.
Yeah. And the thing is, when he's a human, he doesn't have that control over his emotional side. And so there's there's another montage. Well, it's the same montage, really, bouncing back and forth between all of these things. Him now
Right.
getting jokes that he didn't get before. But
Yep.
there's
And
one,
laughing way too hard for too long.
yes, yeah. Well, it's his first time.
Yep.
He's basically he's like a teenage boy. If he had
Mm.
been just suddenly born a teenage boy, this is what would happen.
Oh, his discussion with Lon about that.
Yeah, yeah. Which it made it very clear that he found her attractive. So
Yeah, because there's like thoughts about what anger, sadness, frustration, sex, and hunger, all these
yeah,
emotions.
she says that that being a human adolescent is a cocktail of anger, fear, sexual attraction, and hunger.
Yep.
And yeah, but the reason that he's talking to her is because he loses his shit on Sam Kirk.
Yeah, and yeah, with her being tactical and security is like she'd be the one that you'd answer to if there's some kind of breach like that. Is like, hey, you've got to control yourself. You can't go threatening, other crew members. Because
Yeah,
yeah, he's saying, "I will destroy you, Sam Kirk.
yeah. Well, what
I will
happens
break
was
you."
it actually escalates. You see it escalating through the montage, and like the one where he just says, "Mr. Kirk, clean your mess," and then the next time he just blows his lid. Don't test me, Kirk. I will break you.
Oh, I found the volume little thing on these headphones, and now you sound much
Okay.
better.
Fantastic. So yeah, that's one of my favorite things of the episode is the montages, because they're just
Yeah,
fun.
and that discussion with La'an when he starts having sexual thoughts about her.
Mm-hmm.
And she realizes it and is like, I'm gonna leave the room now. And you see where she puts her hands like kind of put behind her back as she walks out, it seemed, which is
Mm-hmm.
like kind of an at ease position military wise, but also is like, so you won't be looking at her butt as she
Mm.
walks out.
Yeah. It's
And the way she just kind of gingerly steps out, like, I'm gonna leave you to yourself. No, I can't be in the room with you right now. But it's pretty funny that it kind of suggests their relationship later,
mm-hmm.
that there is an attraction there.
Yeah, which I'm all for. I was never for Christine and
Yeah.
Spock. I really wasn't because I knew it wasn't going to last anyway, but
It's,
it's just she's so wishy-washy,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I see that. And is Spock ever going to be without a girlfriend?
Everybody wants to be Spock's girlfriend.
I mean, often he has two at the same time, it seems.
Hmm.
It's like, yeah, he's got T'Pring, but also Christine. And then he has Christine, sort of, but then Lon steps in. It's like,
Well,
okay, what's going on here?
the thing is, he didn't really choose to pray.
Right. That
He was
was
pushed
it.
into that.
Yeah.
So, anyway, there is a lovely scene between Spock and Chapel right after she comes out of her failed interview with this fucking Vulcan.
Oh, yes. Yeah. That's something is this interview, and she wrote this paper. And it's like, well, you didn't use the proper verbiage. And it's like, what do you mean? It's like, well, you strayed from the text. It's like, yeah, because otherwise that's plagiarism,
Mm-hmm.
is what I thought. Is like, what's the use of copying the text verbatim? Because that doesn't show that you understand it. That only shows
Yeah.
that you've read it or copied it.
Yeah.
If you change the wording, at least your word, you're reinterpreting it in a new way. And that's what writing a paper is all about. And I don't know what the hell they're going to do now that all kids are using ChatGPT to write their papers and the teachers are using it to grade the papers. Well, why do we even have school?
Mm,
The robots are just grading the papers by robots and nobody's going to learn anything.
yeah.
But yeah, it's just what's the point of plagiarizing? If you don't show that you understand something, and yeah, and
Yeah.
she
She
even
took
says,
umbrage with that.
I'm in the field all the time. There's stuff I can bring to the seminar from personal experience, but he's not interested in personal experience. He's interested in the theory
Mm,
and the text of the theory.
yeah.
She just did a jerk off maneuver.
I did. But it's really nice because they're coming towards each other, and he can tell she's upset, and he stops her. He's like, "Hey, are you okay?" And she's like, "Yeah, I just had this interview." He's like, "Oh, how did it go?" And she's not happy about it. And he's like, "Yeah, Vulcans can be such jerks."
Yep. And then he opens up his arms wide and steps towards her to give a hug.
Yeah.
She's like, "What the heck?" And then hugs him and is like, "Oh, this is nice."
Yep, yep. Well, he's all muscle. And she asks him how he's doing with all the emotions, and he says, "Oh, it's good. Sometimes I don't cry in the shower."
And then he laughs and slaps her really hard in the arm. It's like, "I am kidding." She's like, "Ow."
Yeah. Oh yeah. So the and this is all a big fucking problem because the pill is demanding that they do the Vishal dinner immediately.
And they've been postponing because, yes, Spock has been in an accident and they're saying that and he's recovering from it. So it's not
Hmm.
like he can do anything. And they're like, well, let's just have it there on the Enterprise. And that way his doctor can be present,
Yeah.
and be there if, he has some kind of relapse or something.
And it's nice to see Amanda again.
Yeah, his mom shows up to assist because,
Well,
there's issues going on. So yeah.
she knows the ritual, so.
Yep, she knows the ritual. They haven't informed her of the accident, but mothers know. And he walks in with the tug on his head.
Hmm.
So,
And yeah, and she's like, "Why are you wearing that hat?" And he's like, "It's standard issue,
yep,
basically standard part of standard uniform." And she looks at Pike, and Pike's like, "Yeah, I have one too."
yep, it's regulation. It's
Yeah,
like,
it's
sure it
regulation.
is.
Sure it is. And she finally makes him take off the hat, and she's just staring at him, going,
Yep.
you can kind of see the oh shit in her eyes.
Well, he gets stroppy with her and
Hmm.
starts yelling just like a teenage boy at his
Yep.
mom. His mother, practically stomping his feet when she
Hmm.
demands he remove the hat.
Yeah.
Yep, you see the ears or the lack thereof.
Yep. So now they've got a problem because yes, he can try to pretend to be Vulcan. They can put Vulcan ears on him, which I'm sure are the actual ears they put on Ethan Peck when he's playing Spock.
Yep.
And but the thing is there are certain things that they can't fake. Like part of the ritual is that he has to do a mind meld with his mother
Hmm.
and talk about what she shows him in that mind meld. And as a human, he can't mind meld.
He's accustomed to actually seeing the memories, and he's not accustomed to lying, though Vulcans
Yeah.
lie all the time.
Yeah. Well,
They just say they don't.
yeah, they just say they don't. They justify it in
Yep.
some way and make it sound like they don't actually lie when they do.
That's not a lie, it's a correction.
Yeah,
But
no.
yeah, while he's learning, the ladies of the cast are instructing him on how to speak like a Vulcan. It's like more robotic, flat emotion. You can see why Uhura's there because, the communications officer, that's her thing. It's like there's nuance in speech, and a lot of how you interpret what somebody's saying is the way they say it. And, Vulcans, because of the logic thing, very flat, without emotion, logical, straight delivery. Again, kind of a neurodivergent thing. That's something that gets leveled at autistic people often is a flat affect.
Mhm. Yeah, it's interesting though because my favorite is Ortega's going, and you raise one eyebrow without ever moving the rest of your face.
Yep. So no more other muscle on your face, just a single eyebrow.
Yeah. So this is pretty terrifying for him because if he fucks this up, then T'Pring is not going to allow them to get married. And she's very racist. She's
Yeah.
just straight up racist.
Well, more and
But
more, that seems to be a thing about Vulcans that we pick up
yeah.
because you get a little bit of that in Enterprise.
Hmm.
Is that there's inhibitors for your scent, your olfactory uh, glands, so that you don't smell humans because they stink to Vulcans.
Yeah, well, and that isn't the first time because that's one of the first times we hear about that, but that also happened with Spock. He was saying that to Pike when he was having his cooking lesson
Yep.
because Pike's like, "Here, smell this," and he's like, "I can't. I have to use these suppressants."
This
So,
is this is
and I
humans give off an odor that that Vulcans don't like.
and the thing is that isn't really the fault of the Vulcans or the humans. It's just, it is what it is.
Yeah.
It's not, it doesn't seem like an actual racist thing to me. More just, you know, like how I can't eat raspberries and people try to
Yeah.
give me raspberries. I'm like, please don't give me raspberries.
Well, how some people, they say don't wear scented deodorant at the workplace because there's people with allergies
Yeah.
to certain scents. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, yeah, mom is teaching him to lie, and he
Hmm.
is not good at it.
Nope.
And she, one of the things that he has to do is prepare the family's tea recipe, not his family's, but Tapil's family recipe, and it has to be precise, and he has to pick up the teapot from that is boiling hot
Yep.
with bare hands, which to a Vulcan wouldn't really even register on their scale, but to a human, yeah. So
Yep.
that's
And
not going to be fun.
and she demonstrates it and just
Hmm.
showing it. This is what I had to learn being a human on Vulcan. I had to suppress it, just like you suppress. I did not show my emotions because they would tear me apart for it,
Hmm.
because they'd see it as my human weakness. And
Yeah.
so I had to clamp that down. And that's something great about this episode is Spock being able to see his mother through her own eyes, because
Yes.
being human is like, oh, that was your experience as a human. While I was wrestling with being half human, half Vulcan, you were struggling with just the pure human bit.
Yeah. She's one of the few humans in a relationship with a Vulcan, and a very powerful Vulcan
Yep.
at that.
And so yeah,
So,
that she's able to pick up, yeah, as a human, just grabbing this teapot by the sides, but you can imagine the pain, it's scalding hot,
mhm.
and that she doesn't even really flinch. You just have this little micro expression of a little bit of pain, and then she recovers and pours it and then sets it back.
Yeah. Ugh, jeez, racism.
Yep.
So, the thing is that if they, Christine finds out if they can't change him back soon, he will be stuck this way.
Yep.
And so they have to go back to the whatever you want to call it.
Kirkovians.
Well, no, the Kirkovians, yes, but the portal or whatever you want to
Ah,
call it.
right.
The
Yes, yes,
waiting room.
yes.
Let's call it
Yeah.
the waiting.
Right. This vortex. Yes.
Yeah. And she takes Ortegas and Uhura, and the ladies are gonna get it done. They are
Yeah.
going to get it done.
Did it seem
So,
like this was unsanctioned?
oh, I'm sure it was.
Because they addressed it like we can't really interrupt because Pike's busy setting up this whole meeting thing.
Hmm.
And I don't know why they didn't go to Una for validation to take out a shuttle. It seems like they
But they
just
probably did. I mean, we
heist
didn't
a
see it.
shuttle. Yeah, it just seemed the way they were speaking that this was an unsanctioned thing, which
Yeah.
is always weird when that happens in Star Trek, that somebody just is able to take a shuttle out. It's like you'd think there'd be a system in place in which you would have to commandeer or request, put in
Oh,
a
yeah.
ticket for a shuttle
That's
before you could use
basically
it.
how it works. They
Yeah.
know when a shuttle is being taken out.
Yeah.
They know that
And it's like, hey, there's
because
shuttles going back to the vortex. It's what? So it must have been approved by somebody, you would think.
yeah, my guess is probably Una because Pike was busy making a lot of Vulcan food and
Yeah.
hoping to mediate this coming disaster. But yeah, in the meantime, so they're off to visit with the Yellow again, and T'Pring arrives on the Enterprise, and she is flustered. It's interesting to see her this way because we don't usually get this from her. And
What? Yeah.
this actor, and I've forgotten her name, I'm so sorry.
Do you want me to
uh
look it up or?
no,
Okay.
don't worry about it. I didn't like her at first because I just don't like the character of T'Pring,
Right.
but seeing her like this in seeming so to have a lot of the same thoughts and feelings that a human would in this situation, with this overbearing, never pleased mother just giving her shit all the time, debating over her outfit that she was wearing for
Yep.
three
For 3 hours,
hours.
which you'd think Spock would say illogical, but he says fascinating. It's Giasadu,
Yeah.
I think
And
is her name.
oh, thank you. And she says, yes, it is fascinating in the way that some species eat their young.
Yes,
I mean,
and
she's
she
not,
makes a joke, and it's a good joke,
it's
and
a great joke.
Spock laughs and then has to cover up and say it's coughing.
Hmm.
He has the opportunity to tell her and doesn't. And
Yeah.
it's an
Well,
interesting impulse, but also considering that there's a mind meld coming up, there
yeah,
is a logical reason not to inform her because she could give it away to her mother through a mind meld.
exactly. And that's the thing. That's why
Yeah.
I know he wanted to, and
Yeah.
he looked like he was going to, and then he realized that he couldn't because if he did, it would blow everything to hell.
Yeah, and she's already under pressure. You put this on top of her,
Hmm.
uh, and with Vulcan supposedly being less capable of lying, how is she going to cover that up from her mother under this already stressful situation? So there's reasons not to tell her, but at the same time, I could see why she was upset that he didn't,
Hmm.
especially when so many other people knew.
Yes, but none of those people were Vulcan.
Right.
So there was the thing is, I get why she was upset too, but logically, his explanation made sense because she would not have been able to keep that information from her mother, whether they mind melded or not.
Right.
So he did what he had to do to protect all of them, to get through this ceremony without any problems, without the pill deciding that they weren't a good match and just rescinding everything.
Though
So,
it's to not much end considering how the whole ritual concludes.
mm,
But we're
yeah,
not there yet.
no, we're not. So he's really worried and trying not to show it, and he's so uncomfortable during this whole ritual. But we've also got the ladies in the waiting room in Kirkovian space, and the person that greets them is actually Blue. Blue
Hmm.
is there, and they explain the situation, and she's remediation has been made. No further contact should be happening outside of the was it waiting
The
period? I can't remember.
response period,
The response time period. Yeah.
yeah, the complaints weren't made within the response period, which they never gave a response
Hmm.
period, which seems
No.
like a failure on their part.
Hmm.
You have so much time to respond with a complaint, but they don't say that ever.
Yeah.
It's like they just assume you know.
Hmm. Yeah. That's an interesting thing. I think people in general tend to do stuff like that from time to time, and so it's not really a surprise that the Kirkovians, who aren't
Yeah.
really used to dealing with corporeal beings anymore.
Well, it's like if you make an overpayment to some kind of billing site and there's a period in which you're allowed to request it back and they just don't send it back to you. You have to go in there and say, "Hey, I overpaid you this amount. Can I have my money back?"
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
that
it's a
they're
lot.
just going to go, "Well, you have, so many weeks before we just keep it to
Yeah.
realize you made a mistake." And then, we're not going to apply it to the rest of the money you owe us. It's just going to be extra money that's now ours.
Not cool. So it's interesting Blue's reaction. I mean, Blue is basically all of them are just basically clouds, I guess,
Yeah,
sparkly
they're
clouds.
energy beings,
Yeah.
and which is kind of funny because you see Ortega's actually kind of crawl under.
Yeah.
I think it was yellow when they're
Yeah, it
talking.
was yeah, well, yellow suddenly appeared, but blue is the
Right.
one who's talking. There Christine's explained the situation,
Yeah.
and blue is getting more and more a little well, it's hard to say, but she seems to be getting agitated. And she
Right.
just leaves. She
Yep.
just leaves in the middle of the conversation,
And it's like, well,
which
it was
is
circular dialogue. They just kept
yeah.
going over the same topics. It's like you're not going to get anywhere. So they just
Yeah.
demand to see yellow because that's who they talked to originally.
Yeah, but even so, I think that blue is upset
Yeah.
because yellow didn't do what she was supposed
Yeah, it seems like yellow screwed up.
yeah, yellow fucked up.
Yeah.
Yellow did not put the Spock back together again correctly.
Yeah, didn't
So
leave them a message about the complaint period.
Mm-mm.
It just said that remediation was completed and no more contact was necessary. Just left it at that,
Yep.
according to their laws. Again, lawful neutral.
Yeah. So I have this head cannon of Blue storming off to find Yellow and going, "What did you do? You screwed this up. You better fix it."
Yep.
And then Yellow comes in and they explain, and there's this whole situation like Yellow keeps pressing, why do you want to fix this, why is he not better as he already is, etc.
I was just
And
reminded of a joke I made while we were watching it or rewatching it, is that the three of them are there to talk to management. They're like a bunch
mhm,
of space Karens.
yep,
Just there, hey, can we speak to your manager?
yeah, but that's the thing, they're not really Karens because they were wronged.
Because management screwed up. It
Management
was,
fucked up big
yeah,
time.
as
So
they were given back half a product. It's like you bring in your car for repairs and you get just like the front half of it. It's like, no.
we put half of your wheels on, the other
Yeah.
half, that you don't really need those, do you? So yeah. Anyway, there's this uncomfortable conversation that Christine has with Yellow,
This is
and
so funny because it's like, well, friendship, that's not quite enough to demand, recompense. It's like there needs to be a closer relationship than that for us to readdress this issue. And the other ladies are looking at her like, Christine, come on. Just
mhm,
say what you have to say. We all know you have feelings for Spock. Just,
yeah,
let them know this, that it's more than just, you know, a working relationship or just friends. There's something else there. So
yeah,
yeah, she has to basically confess her kind of love,
mhm. her
infatuation, maybe.
her crush.
Yeah.
She wishes there was more connection.
That yeah, well, she's connected as hell to the human version of him, but that's not him.
Mm-mm.
That's only half of him. He's missing this other half that frustrates her, but is still him.
Yeah, this
And
is just
that
a
yeah, it's
teenager in Spock's body.
yeah, unfair to him to be lacking this other half of his personality.
Yeah. So yeah, also did this when the ladies went off to save. I wrote down the
The
women.
women,
The women.
the women.
And we're going back and forth between these two stories
Yep.
until we don't really see the conclusion of the conversation with Yellow. The next thing that we see is Chapel showing up at the captain's quarters and saying, "Mr. Spock, I have your vitamins."
Yep.
And the thing is, he had to have a little freak out earlier because the
Oh,
pill is a pill.
the criticism bit where you
Hmm.
have what about a minute just to be read to filth by your mother-in-law or future mother-in-law.
Hmm.
Which is funny because Amanda's like, well, you could visit more and you could have more self-confidence, and that was
Hmm.
about it.
Yeah.
And yeah, the pill is not too happy with that.
No.
She wants to have even more terrible things said about her daughter because it's a Vulcan's imperative to improve, and it's the mother's imperative to provide awareness of
Mhm.
those areas in which to improve.
Yeah, well, her idea of what needs to be improved isn't necessarily T'Pring's idea of what needs to be improved. And
Yep.
having this blanket statement about how she knows best for this other entity that exists outside of her. I was like,
Uh-huh.
yeah, I know you carried her for however many months Vulcans are pregnant, but she is her own person and you are not doing her any service. So
And
I
yeah,
that
the
woman
way
is despicable.
T'Pring goes after Spock about him abandoning Vulcan for Starfleet, for the half human thing, for not associating with his father anymore. That is like he just turned his back on Vulcan, and that how are they going to have a relationship if he's always on this ship? Is like how is he going to devote himself to Pring? And yeah, you could just see Spock trying to contain his anger. His eyes are wide. He's clenching his jaw, just kind of sitting through this.
Hmm.
And that's, after that is when he excuses himself to the bathroom so he could scream into a towel and punch at the air and kick at the air,
Oh
have a
God,
little tantrum
so good,
just to
so
release
good.
that tension.
Yeah. And thankfully, when Christine shows up, it's right before he's supposed to mind meld with his mother.
Yes.
And they're talking in the bathroom, and he's trying to confess something,
Right.
that he's got a thing for her, etc. And she's telling him, okay, so you'll probably still have to keep the ears on because the physical aspects may take longer to manifest, but internally, you're gonna be your half Vulcan self again, etc. And he's trying to make this confession, and she just hits him with the hypo spray,
Hmm.
and you literally see the change on his
He
face.
is such an incredible actor because there's that more recent episode with the holodeck where we just had the dead-eyed Spock, which was a dead giveaway
Mm-hmm.
that he wasn't the true Spock because he just had dead eyes. He just somehow was able to do that. He brings so much into his eyes, the difference between playing a human and a Vulcan. There's just that bit of coldness, that bit of logic, which itself is kind of questionable because it's not like being human, he'd forget how to practice his logic things, or does that only work? Because he's taught that to other humans and it's worked for them. So how does those practices not work when he's human?
Because he's not used to being human.
Well, even they say that it's not that Vulcans lack emotions, it's that their emotions hit even harder than humans.
Yeah.
So in a way, this is so difficult. In a way, it should be less impactful being a human than a Vulcan emotionally. That he
Well,
should be more in control if he has that Vulcan logic training, that the emotions aren't as severe because he's human.
yeah.
So
Well,
I'm confused by that.
the thing is that with him being human, that means his brain has changed. It's not just
Right.
his body, his brain has changed, his internal organs have
Ah.
changed. He's a completely different person at
So
this point.
it's those neural pathways that he's developed through the Vulcan logic training would have been essentially erased
Mm-hmm.
by being repaired after the accident.
Yep.
That was a Vulcan part of him that had been removed because it didn't match. That makes sense. Okay, that's better.
I'm happy to
Because,
help.
yeah, because there's other things that he seems to remember. It's not like everything of him that was Vulcan was removed, or is
Hmm.
it?
No, it's not everything is removed, but it's been altered to say the
Because, yeah,
least.
you think that is a memory. Can a memory be coded as Vulcan or human? I mean, the parts of the brain, I suppose, could be
Mm,
that were specifically Vulcan. So who knows?
yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those threads that if you pull can be very dangerous. So maybe I should leave it alone.
Yeah, let's just go with futuristic la di da.
Yeah,
So one thing I want to talk about is after Spock has mind melded with his mother, and he says it was, an ordinary day, and she was taking him to school. And that's obviously not everything that she showed him.
yeah.
But
Yeah, and I think that's him keeping her privacy
oh,
because
absolutely.
T'Pring is disappointed in it. It's like, oh, what a boring memory. It's like, no, she saw her son relating to other Vulcans and knew to step back and let that just take place and not interfere and be the human fly in the ointment sort of thing, not to
Yeah.
ruin the moment.
It is basically the first time that Vulcan kids asked Spock to play with them,
Yeah,
basically.
to that he was accepted by
Yeah.
other Vulcans, and they
And
normally avoid him because of the half human
of
element
course.
to him.
And
Because racist, which is weird because you think with being logical, is it logical to be racist?
no, it is not.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I think it's irrational. It's based in fear of the other.
Mm-hmm.
And you cut off so many opportunities that from even yourself
Mm-hmm.
of getting to know other people, getting to understand people by their differences, being able to learn from people that are unlike you. It's just this fear of the other that you have to be comfortable in your own little shell, as much as the right wing talks about how stupid safe places are. What safer place is there than to just remove anybody who's not you, that
Hmm.
anybody who's not like you in most respects, because you fear difference. Why? Because you might be found to be inferior to others?
Yep.
Is that what it is? Is that that self-understanding of your own mediocrity, that just the sheer chance someone else might be cooler or more interesting or more capable, that you have to remove them from your sight to be able to feel more comfortable in your own skin? That's not going to take away that discomfort still.
Mm-mm. It's
It's
not.
it's just a security blanket of racism to just believe that you're superior to others just because of the skin you were born in. And that's what we get from these Vulcans, is just this assumption that Vulcans are superior when multiple occasions they've been shown to be duplicitous,
Hmm.
to be less logical than they put on,
Rude. Straight up rude.
rude, yeah, straight up rude, misogynistic re regarding their culture. There's not a whole lot of diversity, as much as they talk about infinite diversity and infinite combinations. Do they really practice what they preach when it comes to that?
Mm.
It may be an understanding of the universe, but if you don't embrace that and embrace diversity within your culture, and is that another thing where they just fear losing their culture to foreign influence,
Yeah.
and that having humans around upsets the apple cart and just,
Well,
yeah,
if that's what they're thinking, that's a them problem.
yeah,
That's not an everybody else problem. So,
right.
the whole racism thing is a stupid way to express that. But what I want to talk about is how T'Pril says to Spock, I don't believe that didn't believe you'd actually get through this because, you're half human. And she's basically being very racist towards
Uh-huh.
him. And this is when he's already had the quote unquote vitamins. So
Yep.
he's mind wise back to being Spock. And because basically she's making digs at his mom, and
Yeah.
he is just like, "Oh no, you do not."
Yeah, there's a lot of Vulcans can do this, Vulcans do that. Humans can't do this, humans can't do that. I fear for your half human side that you're lacking. But
Mm-hmm.
you did manage to get through this, which is encouraging considering the environment you grew up in.
Yeah.
That, you're showing that you are a true Vulcan. And of course, that's when he rips off his ears.
Yep. So it would have been impossible for a human to fulfill this ritual. That
Yep.
was so
It's
fantastic. I
like, I
love
was
that.
human the whole time. The whole time. It's like
The
the scene
whole
right
time.
out of Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yeah.
The whole time.
And he really stands up for his mother, and
Hmm.
he's now understanding because he went through this as a human. He now understands what she went through,
Yep.
and he has an even stronger connection to
Yeah, the
his
stuff
mom.
that he was always half experiencing, she was experiencing fully.
Yeah.
And all the pain he felt, she felt twice as much.
Yep.
Probably even more so because she would take on his pain. And so it was more like pain and a half for her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and that's a beautiful scene. And basically, T'Pril is not amused,
Nope.
and T'Pring is pissed off, and she has a conversation with Spock later, being upset about why he didn't tell her,
Yep.
etc. I still think that that was the only decision he could have made in the
Yeah.
situation that he was in.
Still, relationships are built on trust. And it's like, if you can't trust your partner enough to share something of that importance, do you really belong together?
Yeah, well, they never belonged together.
Yep.
They
And
were
there
a
you go. There's
terrible
your answer.
match. They were a
Yeah.
terrible match, and she didn't trust him either.
Nope.
So, and it wasn't for him, it wasn't about trust. It was about survival.
Mm.
It was about getting through what needed to be gotten through so that they could continue on. And instead, she tells him, let's take a break. And I'm wondering how long this break lasts because we haven't seen her again. And I'm thinking maybe the
Yep.
next time we see her is when Spock is in TOS and goes back to Vulcan because Von Bar, and she's like, I don't want to be married to you.
Right.
I'm in love with this idiot.
Yep. Yeah.
So they have to fight each other, and except I mean Kirk fight instead. Anyways, but
Yep.
yeah, it was something that was a poor choice from the beginning, and I'm sure that the thing is that I don't think they were ever in love.
No, they're not well suited. Well, it's so difficult to talk about love and the Vulcans.
Yeah, but there is love. They do
Yeah,
experience love.
yeah, because yeah, Amanda and his father, so
Sarah.
yeah, that there's a love there.
Yeah, but it's not just that. It's also shown in Tuvok
Yeah,
in Voyager. Vulcans
true.
experience emotions and they do experience love and they
Yeah.
do have sex outside of Pon Far. Otherwise, their race would die.
Yep. And there's tradition too, and it's the whole old old El Cid thing is like, do you go with love or tradition? And hopefully you could somehow manage both.
Yeah,
But yeah, they're not suited to one another.
yeah. And besides that, there is no particular virtue in doing things the way they've always been done.
Yeah. And it makes you wonder if you think T'Pring finds him exciting because he's got this like half human thing and it's to annoy her mother.
Mm,
And maybe she's not really as much attracted to Spock as she is attracted with the idea that he upsets her mother.
mm,
And that's a very teenage thing to do as well, as long as we're talking about teenage emotions.
yeah,
Is like to pick a certain guy that you know upsets your parents, even though you don't actually love this guy, which is always dangerous because, yeah, when
yeah.
does that come out that you have no feelings and are actually using this guy for some kind of revenge against your parents?
Yeah, it's not a good idea to use people like that because
No.
chances are it's going to go wrong. So
Yep.
just so you heard it here, folks, don't use people like that. That's not okay. So anyway, the episode ends with well, Spock's had this conversation with T'Pring and she's off, and he's pacing back and forth in his quarters.
Right.
And then finally, he seems to make a decision and he heads for the doors, and the doors open, and Christine's right there.
Yep.
And so they have a conversation, and he tells her that he couldn't have gone through with it anyway because he had feelings for someone else. And yeah, basically, she jumps him.
Yep. They have a kiss. And then that kiss goes off screen, so they probably did it.
I'm 100% sure they were fucking. So
Yeah.
yeah. So that's how that ends. And the thing is even after that, even after Christine gets what she wants, she's still just very wishy-washy about it.
Yeah. There's bits of the character I like, but her romantic concerns are strange.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it does seem weird how she chooses partners and treats them.
Mm-hmm.
Because when it comes to her job, and she's very competent, and
Oh yeah.
it comes to her friends, it seems like she's really, solid in there. But when it comes to romantic interludes or
Yeah.
affairs, she's all over the place.
She doesn't know how to be herself. She always
Yeah.
holds something back.
Yeah,
And I
it's
don't
like
know
she
why.
doesn't, as much as she commits herself fully into her job, she doesn't do that romantically. There's always something she's holding back.
Yeah. And we see that in season one episodes, like
Yeah.
when they've all got shore leave and she's meeting up with this guy that she's been kind of seeing. And he's like ready for them to be together. And should I transfer to your ship? Should you transfer to mine? And she's just like, oh no, 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 no,
Yeah, that's
no.
not what this is.
That's not
And
what this is, dude.
one of the other characters, and I can't remember who, probably Ortega's, calls her out on her lack of commitment in relationships. And this
Yes,
is
it's
a
Ortega's.
common thing she does.
Yep.
Is she, gets this flirty thing going on. It starts to heat up. They have some fun times, and then it gets serious, and she cuts it off,
Mm-hmm.
which is weird
And
because the Spock and her thing seems to start pretty seriously,
yeah.
but then, yeah, she's kind of weird about it, especially when it comes to her career as well. It's like, how do
Yeah.
you balance those two things? Your life as this medical student, this student of medicine completely, and then just having a romance.
Well, here's the thing. If you want it bad enough, you'll make it work.
Yep,
That's all there is to it.
there's ways to do it.
And she didn't want it bad enough. So, but I think also that this was influenced, that the break that happens between them later was definitely influenced with Boimler talking to
Yeah,
Christine in the turbo lift, and
yeah, that
because he's
crossover.
like, he has been working on expressing emotions, and the scary smile, my god, his scary smile is
Uh-huh.
terrifying. He thinks he's being, just smiling, but it's not.
Yeah,
It's like, it's very uncomfortable. But he says, I what's going on? Is he okay? Has something happened to him? Because the future needs serious Spock, or else a lot of things are going to go horribly wrong.
which is a
And
terrible thing to say when you're time traveling.
absolutely, well, Boimler is not the smartest when it comes to
Yeah.
keeping secrets.
Well,
Boimler
he's
is not a,
such a rule hound, though,
yeah,
that
he
you'd
is.
think the temporal mechanics and all the rules surrounding how to interact when you're out of time or
Yeah.
in a different time. But
Yeah,
no,
well, the thing is though, is that he was, shit, I lost my train of thought. This is what happens when you interrupt me. Um he was doing his best. Like, he'd had a chat with La'an already, and he he's like, don't do it. But then he's like significantly worried that something weird is going on, and that's
right,
why he's talking to Christine. He doesn't know that they've got a thing going. And so he's fearing that he's messing up the future, that
right.
somehow he's going to mess up the future if Spock doesn't return to his normal behavior. I'm sure that's what was going through his little brain. I shouldn't say little brain. His brain is no
His
different
cartoon
size than
brain.
anyone else, his cartoon brain. But that's also one of the best episodes of Star Trek. Just,
Yep. Riker.
yeah. Yeah. So do you have anything else to say about this episode, babe?
I think we talked the hell out of this one. Anything I had to say got addressed during the conversation.
Yeah, and I am so sweaty. I need to
Yeah,
turn the air
it's warm.
conditioner
I'm
back
getting
on.
damp.
I am so damp. Anyway, we got to choose next week's episode.
We do. Exciting, exciting.
So, very exciting. Very
So we
exciting.
still haven't done Discover. We still haven't done original series.
Yep.
And that's it, right? Those are the only two we haven't done.
Yeah, that's correct. I was thinking of all the new stuff and going, nope, we've done at least one episode of the new stuff. So yeah, except of the rest of the new stuff, I mean. So let me see if I've got my numbers right here. I did update with that, so we're up to 951. So let's see what we're gonna get. Give me a random number between 1 and 951. 798. Oh my God. We're still in new
This
stuff.
this
798.
Discovery, maybe.
798. I keep over scrolling. 798. 798. Oh my God. Yes. Okay. Star Trek Discovery,
Oh my
Season
God.
3, Episode 9, Terra Firma, Part 1. Finally!
Of course it'd be part of a two-parter. Of course it would be. That we'd get our first Discovery episode and it'd be part of a two-parter. That is
Yep.
hilarious.
Yep. Yep.
All
Yep.
right. Next time we'll get some Discovery action on.
I
Wow.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
Yeah, so then
It's been a
it'll be
long time
just the original
coming.
series we haven't done yet.
Yeah, it
Not even
will.
one of the movies, which is odd,
Yeah, yeah. So,
considering how
oof,
many of them there are.
I know there are a lot, because there's six in the original series, and then there's
Uh,
four in the Next Generation series, and then there's the three Kelvin ones.
yeah.
And
So we
so
got
yeah.
3 seasons and 6 movies for the original series.
Hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, we've done the animated, which is close, so at least
Yes.
we kind of rub up against it.
We do rub up against it. It isn't quite TOS because it's
Yeah,
its own thing. It's TAS. I mean, it's
yeah,
lumped together by most people, but it's the animated series is different from the live action series,
yeah.
and so I keep those separated in that way. But yeah, holy shit! Finally, some Discovery.
So season 3 episode or season
Season 3,
season 3
episode
episode
no,
9.
9.
Terra Firma Part
Terra
1.
Firma Part 1. Yeah.
All right. Just making sure I had the episode, even though listened to this episode and realized it, then I just, yeah, make sure I know for
Yeah.
future what
Yeah.
episode we're watching of
That
Discovery.
episode. You can always ask me. I always have the spreadsheet on
Okay.
the
Oh, are
computer.
we being Vulcan? No,
What?
Vulcans
No,
speak more moderately. They do not rush their speaking.
they do not.
Though sometimes you hear Spock speak a little more quickly. Clipped, anyway.
This is true. So, yeah, check out our other podcast, Boldly Go, which is
Yeah.
all about Strange New Worlds. So
Yeah.
you might get double teamed on that sometimes. And next episode that we'll be talking about is What is Starfleet?
Yeah, the
So,
documentary one.
yeah, so we'll be doing that. I think on Tuesday, if I remember correctly.
Was it
We
Tuesday or Thursday? I don't even
it
remember.
was
No, it's not the
Tuesday.
Tuesday because I thought we were
Tuesday.
going to the movie on Tuesday.
I thought oh, we were. Shit. Wednesday. We're gonna do it Wednesday
All right.
because I don't have to go to the chiropractor that day.
That and I'm hoping to get that Thursday off, which might be nice. So,
Yeah. So yeah. So sorry about the schedule being off. I apologize on that, but some things happen.
yeah.
So and by the way, while we're just talking about it, if anybody knows who sent me this
Oh, yeah.
lovely plaque,
Yeah, it's a little
that's
placard that says "Live long and prosper" and has a Vulcan salute on it.
yeah.
It
Um
arrived in the mail, and we have no idea from where or whom.
Yeah. It came through Amazon, but there was no, card or anything like that in there. So I have no idea who sent it. There's only so many people that have my address. So, and I've checked with most of them, I think, and nobody's owning up to it. But if anyone knows who it is and can tell me, thanks. If you can't tell me or don't want to tell me, that's okay too. Just know that I'm very, very appreciative.
Yeah,
It
it
came at a
came
perfect
at a
time.
really good time
Yeah,
that lifted her spirits. So
sure did. So,
just to know somebody out there is thinking of her. So
yeah.
yeah.
And knows me very well.
Yep.
All right. Is that it? I think that's it. I think
Well,
we've done this to death. Unless you wanted to
uh,
do something. What do you want to
well,
say?
just a little thing that I just saw in my email when I was looking for your link to the Zoom meeting
Mm,
is that Leatherstrip, who is Klaus Larson, who is the godfather of dark electro, my favorite music genre, is going to be in Salt Lake City
mm,
for a concert around October 10th. I think possibly through the 12th because it's the Dark Arts Festival. I've never gone to the Dark Arts Festival.
mm,
It's basically a Gothic convention in Salt Lake City. And if anybody's around the area that wants to attend, would be very cool because he's an awesome dude. If you're LGBTQ plus, he's right up your street because he is gay AF and proud of it. His albums, his music, his covers, he does amazing covers. It's right there, right in front of you. He has songs about queer culture, about keeping kink in the queer community, stuff like that. Leather daddy stuff, like straight up. So, well, it's not straight up, queer up. Um, so one of my favorite musicians of all time, uh, collaborator, shows up on anybody in the industrial music scene. He's bound to have remixed something of theirs. He's the guy that convinced the singer for Assemblage 23 to sing his own songs. He, I believe, is the guy that convinced Rudy Ratzinger to instead of just DJing other people's music to create his own. This Rudy became Vumpskut, who basically dominated dark electro for years and created under him a whole bunch of copycats trying to capture his sound to the point where V&V Nation co-founded Future Pop to get away from that sound because it was dominating the club floors.
mm.
So we're talking about a guy who's had such an influence that like even other subgenres just to kind of move away from this style have developed. So yeah, he's going to be at the Dark Arts Festival and that's very exciting. So just something to address because I know some people are, miss the dark corner where we talk about this sort of thing. So just something to address there.
Then, well,
Socials or do you
socials.
care?
I'm on Instagram at Brandy Jackola. I am on Blue Sky as Brandywine. It's pretty much it for me.
Yep, you can find me as DJ Evil Dave in most places. Pretty much Blue Sky. Shield Modulation is on Blue Sky as well. We're on YouTube. Look for DJ Evil Dave with underscores. There's some music stuff on there too. And Bandcamp, DJ Evil Dave. Just about anywhere it's DJ Evil Dave, and you'll probably find me.
Cool, cool. All right then. We'll see it. Well, we won't see you. You'll see us if you watch the. No, we don't put out the video version.
We don't do video podcasts.
No, we don't.
We could, but we don't.
We don't. It's enough of a struggle just to get up in the morning sometimes. So we will talk to you next week about
Discovery. You must have said that really loud because you cut out again.
Sorry,
The
Discovery
noise
finally.
reduction in Zoom is like a beast. So that cut you out again. Discovery finally. You have to do it like a Vulcan.
Discovery finally.
There you go. I heard that.
All right. Right. See ya.
See ya. Another one of our rare corrections. Next episode is for Terra Firma Part 2, not Part 1. Still Star Trek Discovery, so that's very exciting.